Well, whenever it comes to the salmon fishing in the River Mourne and the River Finn, one of the great legends, Frank Elliot, and Frank will tell us the journey he had along the beautiful River Mourne and the Gordon stretch on the beautiful River Finn. And I hope that you enjoy as Frank tells the story of how he spent his life at the river.
And on this system here, the great Mourne system.
Aye, as they call it, the mighty Mourne mine.
On the Mourne system, you have 5 or 6 great tributaries. You have here on the right,
Well, it was a strange encounter whenever I first met Frank, and I happened to run into this man. He's standing with a salmon on in the own Calloo River, and he couldn't get the salmon to come off, so he decided to do this strange thing with a fly rod to try and get the fish to get away. I've never seen it in my life.
How long? I've seen. None of you worry about it. I'll help you out here. I'll get this in a minute seconds. This will only, as the dentist says, this will not hurt at all. I'll do, surely I'll get the hook out of him alright. You just give me that there 2 seconds. Right, the hook's out and all. Is that deep in there? Is that deep in there? No. I'll soon find out, hey. I'm trying to keep in the water. Oh, don't worry about it. There'll be a river in heaven somewhere. The boat hole. Is that dead?
Well, Frank kept on going, and he got another salmon as we met him just as we were leaving. And Desi here was curious about the tackle that Frank was using, and obviously he had the setup. So, time to say goodbye, and obviously I was hoping to run into Frank and could tell that wonderful story of his life along the River Mourne and the River Finn. And lucky enough, I just happened to run into him again, and I hope you enjoy how the story goes. I mean, one of the legends of the river, he is Frankie Elliot.
That's me.
I tell you what, Frankie, good to see you as usual. I'm very well, hey, we met last year and you're still going yet, hey?
Still going, and a lively corpse just.
Oh goodness me, well I'll tell you what, hey, you're doing alright, hey. The one foot's going in front of the other, that's the main thing. That Mourne River, you fished this sometime?
Oh, I fished it a lifetime. I caught my first salmon on the 12th of July 1948.
That's unreal, that's just...
Down below Lifford Bridge, a place called Gallagher Stream, I was fishing for sea trout. And I hooked and landed a 6.5 pound gulch.
That was your first salmon. What age were you then, hey?
Oh, I would have been 9.
9, and was it the fly or the spinner?
Oh, the fly. There was no spinning around Strabane. There was an explosion of anglers around Strabane and elsewhere from the early 50s onwards, when the fixed spool come into play.
Right.
Because prior to that, it was all wooden rods.
Wooden rods?
Wooden rods.
No cane?
Split cane.
Oh, the split cane, yeah, absolutely.
That, or I happen to have a steel one too a few years ago.
Is that the tank aerial?
It was a tank aerial. It cost 7 and 6, a 3-piece tank aerial. I remember sending away to myself and another neighbour, sending away to Sander and Kay. They were disposing of armoury surplus, and we got these three-piece rod it was, and I got it made up. Cost 30 shillings when it was made up and all, and I fished that for a good while.
Boys.
And I was able to fish it with one hand, which is a very heavy rod.
Oh, yeah, it's solid, right.
So I think as a result of fishing with that heavy tackle, and sinking lines at that time.
Yep.
I think that's what gave me a good
Action.
good action.
Aye, very good, aye. Then you'd have worked off the split canes, the tank aerials. That would have been in the 60s probably, and you'd been fishing.
60s, I remember I had a couple of cane rods, Hardy's with steel centre, and I remember buying a new Hardy Y rod up of Harry Clark, who was a salesman up in Braddles and Arthur Square. I think
Belfast.
it was 34 or 43 pounds, 13 and a half foot Y with 2 tops, and I got a couple of pair of Stream Ranger latex body waders at the same time.
Boy, that's unreal. Them was chest waders, were these?
Chest waders.
Aye, chest
They were
waders.
very fine. They were like Ladies Nile. They were like a cheap pond might have pioneered the latex at that time. They were very fine and they were very comfortable.
You see there, whenever them waders, I still wear the PVC waders.
That's the ones I wear at the moment.
Oh, that's right, aye.
And I can get 6 and 7 years out of them,
Aye.
and I would be doing a good lot of work compared to most other ones.
I know, understand. A wee man in the barn fishes there, and he get the nickname of Patches.
Aye.
And he always wore PVC waders, and he always fell and put a hole in them.
Aye.
So he had that many patches on them, the
I
nickname.
suppose you thought they were hand built.
That's right, aye. As Sir Paul McDonald.
Patches the leaders.
That's right. Now we're not going to keep. You were a baker.
I was a baker by trade. I was very, very lucky. By hindsight, the job that I got, you could leave school, you see, in my day, when you were 14. Sure enough, I got the job, and it was
What money were you getting
12 o'clock in the day. I started work. If you told anyone that you were a baker, they rightfully assumed that you're out from cock crow in the morning. That wasn't the case for me. I didn't start work till 12 o'clock. I was in the bread department.
Obviously, you had love for angling as a young man.
Heavens, aye.
So then, have you had all these rivers close by?
There would have been very, very few clubs at that time. As a matter of fact, I could have fished and did fished up very nearly as far as Ardstraw, not Ardstraw, very nearly up as far as
Castledurg, maybe?
Spamount. No,
Spamount,
there was
aye.
a club in Castledurg.
Mhm.
But from Spamount down,
Aye,
it was always looked upon as free fishing.
aye.
And then you would have had the River Dennett. There was no clubs there either. There was no clubs in the fun in the earlier days either, up until you went to near Ballybuffet, just in order.
And then early years, whenever I was only a young man looking, trout and salmon had come out, and then in the 80s, I quite regularly seen a situation where you'd seen Kelly Gordon and you'd seen
Gordon.
Frank Elliot.
Aye.
So you obviously then were very keen to fish the Kelly Gordon waters.
Aye.
Were you one of the people that actually got a club in the Kelly Gordon
There was
water?
a man called James McAnulty, and there's another man, Paddy Hu, a tailor from Conway. They had took fishing rights. They took least fishing up around that area. In the earlier days, you see, there was no clubs, and then the Finn Club was formed, and the Finn Club was made up of mostly ones from the north,
Right.
and they were very uppish sort of society.
There was
I was sort of privileged, as I say, privileged in the true sense of the word, to come from a working class background who had me 2 feet on the ground.
Oh, right, oh,
And,
surely.
I was catching a good lot of fish, and myself and the brothers and other people, anglers, could not get admission to the Fun Club.
Oh, so
you
you
had to
are-
be a sort of a earning middle class. You were looked upon as middle class if you earned more than £4 a week at that time.
Goodness me, hey. I believe anyway.
Aye.
Then you were up into the 70s, you'd fish Kelly Gordon.
Yeah.
Supposedly, when you start fishing the Finn then, that you've been a young baker by this stage then.
1952 I started fishing the Fun.
Right.
And at that time, there was no clubs. There was the wee Donegal line, which ran from Strabane up through Clady, Castlefun, Scully, Kelly Gordon, several other stops, up to Ballybuffet and all that, and away on up to Glentis and Killybegs. No clubs, nothing. At that
Nothing. So that was all
time.
fished.
No
You'd
clubs.
have.
Then the
You
clubs were formed a few years later.
and were you driving at this time, or were you?
Oh, no, push bike.
Wow,
Very
what?
few people could afford
A push bike?
the 1 and 4pence. It cost 1 and 4pence from Strabane to Killygordon and back again. And very few people, including teachers, even principal teachers, couldn't afford it. So it was all the bikes.
So you had to tie the rod to the bike
I had the rod to the bike.
and
And-
pedal through the one in the rain.
pedal through the one or end. And
What way did you bring the fish in then?
Eh?
How do you get the fish in with you? You tie them to the bike.
you bind it when you put them on away back in a sling.
So you just pedal along with the fish in your back?
Aye.
Boy, that's great, see.
If you saw an angler and they had a flask, they was looked upon as middle class.
Aye, because it
The
was...
flask?
Aye, the flask would be expensive.
Flask, and then you saw anybody with a camera, you assumed it was an American tourist.
Aye, I understand. So obviously,
Matter of fact,
the rich and the poor, there was a big
Up in the
divide.
earlier days on the fun when the Glebe Club was founded, which was a member of, the more affluent, or as I thought they were affluent, down in the other club who liked to keep the working man out, or the ordinary person out, the Glebe ones, all coming on bikes, 7 or 8 miles, with a black oilskin coat on them, and they had a tin can with a wee loop in the top of it, and they made their fire. And the other club referred to the Glebe Club as the Glebe Gypsies.
Oh, it's a dinner.
Looking like a wee tinkers.
Surely, aye,
boiling their tea along the river.
Aye, along the river. They invented this type of design, I think, to use for cooking processes and even heat. Well, then, you then fished regularly at Killigordon, or did you come across...
regularly at Killigordon up to the present day.
To the present day.
That's over now, yeah.
Aye, that's right, obviously, I understand. And the situation then was, whenever that time, you fished always the fly.
I fished the fly mainly.
Mainly, aye.
There wasn't a terrible lot of ones fishing fly at that time.
Oh, yeah. What flies, when you mind me asking, what you were you using?
Well, at that time...
Singles, irons?
Oh, it would have been all singles at that time. Would have been a yellow dog or a Wilkerson, and then...
The white bug.
was a white bug, and...
White bugs.
White bug, and... what was
Deadly
it?
fly.
Thunder and lightning.
Thunder and lightning, aye. That would be a great fly, aye, obviously. That would be a...
successful.
Aye, and then you fished on, did you fish then up as far as Cloughan?
No.
You were only below Ballyville.
The only time ever I went above Killigordon, I always made a point of going up every year between the 26th of November and the 6th of
What's the
December
spawning, hey?
to see the salmon spawning on the River Inn.
Oh, yeah.
I never was one, even in this river. I might have went as far as Newton Stewart the earlier years, but I was never one to follow the fish on up to the nursery streams, you know.
That's true.
Or the maternity wards, as some people call them.
I was running by a fella, we met recently there, and I said to you, but the situation, our home river I grew up on was the River Bush, and they put a salmon station on it in 73. It's still there yet to this day. But you had said briefly, which is astounding, how obviously that there was a certain time that the Finn had some issues with whether disease, or was it they had to do something.
There was an outbreak of disease throughout the country.
What years was this now? You went to the 70s now?
It would have been in the mid-60s.
Right.
An outbreak of disease, mainly in Springfish rivers, the Slaney and on. So a lot of years later, when it had been eradicated out of most of the rivers, it hit then the Lennon and County Donegal in the early 70s.
Remilton, or in... Aye.
And that was...
Was this a major issue then for the Finn then? Obviously that was causing a lot of trouble then. Were you going to lose the salmon?
There was no great run of grills on the Finn at that time. It was all the Spring River.
So there was a dramatic change then happened?
The dramatic change happened in the 1979.
That's a very right. That's so can you explain to me? Obviously, it's very hard to take this in, but was the Finn under that much pressure? Somebody had to make a decision about what was been done, or was it a collective decision?
Well, you see, as regards pressure, the Finn, well, the foil from Lifford Bridge downstream down to a few miles out at sea, the foil would have had over 500 licensed nets. That's not taking into consideration the amount of illegal nets and poaching generally. And law and order have been breaking down, and the bidders have found it nearly hard to get on top of things. And there would have been big runs of fish coming onto the foil. Maybe the nets might have had yields maybe close on 100,000 a couple of years in excess. To their recommendations, the rivers was nearly on their deathbed at that time. The Mourne was suffering very badly. Derg was keeping it alive.
Right.
And they made a recommendation.
Is this the same era in 70s, 80s?
They made a recommendation that the nets, which went on, I think it was the 15th of April, and up to the end of August, that they wouldn't go on until the 3rd Monday in June. And as a result of that, it was amazing. the amount of wee small fish got up 3, 2, 3, 2, 3 and 3.5 pound up the fun, very numerous, and the dare got a fair sprinkling of them too.
Aye.
So that run stayed for about 20 years, but it has declined now.
So you're starting to see.
There was a hatchery at that time.
No.
There was a hatchery, and there was a hatchery up there, down a couple of miles upstream there, less than 20.
Was the hatchery?
Outbreak of red fun disease. So they took over the hatchery up there. It was disused at that time, the hatchery,
Right.
and they built it up there until a good.
And do you mind me asking? There's a hatchery originally up there,
There was.
and there's a hatchery now in Newton Stewart. Was that? No.
The ones up there was that.
Was that effectively used by a club to rear stock, or was it just
Some of the clubs might have given 10 or 20 pound to buy a lock of fry or something.
fry? Surely.
Contribution or
Absolutely. I know. I understand that. I know there's an open mindedness at the minute about hatcheries, and obviously as salmon fishing devolves into a different era, and obviously Mother Nature's hand is not maybe. We're always looking at the situation with the fun then in the 70s. You believed in it, or you actually seen it yourself, which is very few people can say happened. They actually had the problems the fun had. They transferred broodstock.
The plant, you see, the broodstock, they'll take it down to the hatchery up there, but then when the outbreak of red fun broke there, they took the stock that they netted at Salmon, they brought them down, hatched them down in Bushmills.
Mourne fish.
Well,
sorry.
Down there, you'd assume they were Mourne fish, but there's been established now that some of the fun fish will go up as far as Salmon and turn again.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Obviously, that genetics is still there.
Radio tagging.
So effectively,
it has been known.
Oh, it has been known
as a result of radio tagging.
So then the bush salmon hatchery then transferred that stock to the fun.
Aye. There were so many, the fish could have been, that they were netting at Salmon, could have been for the Glenelly, the old Canoe, the Dare, the Strill, the Camoan, and they netted them at Salmon. They didn't know what river they were from.
Surely, that's right.
It wasn't too
known.
Well advanced at that time.
Surely.
So they hatched them out, and the Idova, they transferred so many thousand of Idova to various rivers, various streams, including a couple of streams high up, just downstream of where the Lough Fun exits to form the Fun at a wee place called Norton's Bar, they used to call it. Now it's Millside Burn.
So they're well up. Then it was transferred up actually, and they were reared and brought from the hatchery.
Bushmills, them Idova.
Idova
and planted into the ground.
Was that successful? That's the big question. In your opinion, did it change?
It was after that. A few years later, there was a well-established run, and it's lasted for about 20 years, of
grills.
3-4 pound wee grills.
When did you see the change? Were you happened to fishing whenever
1979, I remember downstream of Killigordon Bridge, 79, one Saturday morning, I went down. It was nearly a novelty to get a grills at that time in the fun, and I went down this morning, and I got 6. I remember in the course of 4 visits, I hooked 28 in the course of 4 visits, and there was one Saturday morning I hooked 8 and got none of them. So very soft mouth. Lost a
How did you react whenever you realised all of a sudden?
As long as you're hooking them, I don't care if you're losing them, as long as I'm hooking them.
Aye. I mean, was it a shock to you that this fish?
Aye.
And how did you respond to that? Did you get on that push bike? Hey, did you head off to tell everybody? All of a sudden, the fun's full of fish, or was it just you kept it under your hat till you fished?
Aye. Well, them that had any knowledge of the fun would have found it very hard to believe, you know.
Aye, I thought. That's what I've been thinking. You know, because obviously at that stage it was a big turnaround.
You see, sure it was for close on 20-25 years. Sure, it was an annual excursion going up to Cloughan after the flood in June. In the big number.
Oh God, aye, that's right. That's right. That was absolutely true. Aye. And then obviously as time has changed, that's been dramatically reduced. Them big major runs.
Oh, the major.
Aye. Now you're getting to a stage where you're into the 80s.
Aye.
And obviously that stage of the game, hey, are you still baking?
Oh, not at all, no. Bacon and eggs just.
No, and were you still a baker?
Oh, was I?
And still in the same place.
Oh,
Were you any smarter? Mind you tell them you had to be a smart man to get the job.
Oh, brains on the balloon, maybe.
Well, then you'd have fished in consistently all the time. That was your passion, wasn't it?
You know better.
Aye, that's right. I knew that was all you had. The river was nearby, and Obviously, that stage you had a car then, that stage, hey?
I had a motorbike, had a big Norton motorbike and all, too.
Norton motorbike.
Norton
And how did you find the travelling? Were you able to go up to the rivers farther up, Phil?
You see, on the big motorbike, you see, I'm not a great motorist. I was never want to go out very early in the morning.
Right.
And big motorbike and
The roads.
roads stuffed on my back. And I remember one opening morning up the fun. And there was me and the brother, and I had a Labrador pup that was 6 weeks old. I paid 10 guineas for it coming at the
10 what?
10 guineas.
Guineas? Right.
And I took it up along this opening morning. It was cold morning. And I remember we got 5 spring fish and there was snow on the ground. And I come home that evening with a fish shop ready in the door. That was in between us.
That's deadly, boys. Them was the days, hey?
All the days. And the spring fish at that time would have been for about 9 to 12 pounds.
9 to 12 pounds.
The springers now, where they're much fewer, they would be
7
and 8 pounds. Would be common enough.
That's very true, hey. And then obviously this river opened later than the Finn. That was an early river.
Up around here, up around this area here, years and years ago, the anglers from Newton Stewart on up, or even from Sion, upstream of Sion, they wouldn't have bothered, especially around Newton Stewart, they wouldn't have bothered until the flood after the 12th of July. Anglers wouldn't have bothered.
Was that right? As late as
until
that,
there was
boys.
a flood after the 12th of July.
And then moving across then for the Finn, that's been your, basically, not say home river, but your nearest river.
Oh, aye.
The River Mourne.
A few good places there up around between Strabane and Sion Mills. There was 3 or 4 very, very good productive areas. One of them was Hagginson Stream, then there was the Blackstone, and there's good fishing on up to the weir at Sion Mills. I would have fished mainly around the Blackstone and Doctor's Water.
Was that even before Sion Mills Angling Club, then?
Oh no, Sion Angling Club is on the go now.
You were going to go, so were you remember that quite actively?
I remember Sion Mills Anglers.
I allude that would be the case, hey. And then further upstream as they moved out of Sion, obviously they would come up through and here. Then your Strabane anglers would have kicked in. Well, they've been involved in it, and then obviously you get the Dukes whatever.
Let's make it quite clear. This is the Strabane Anglers, which is just...
I mean, Billy never gave me that licence, hey, aye.
Whereas the Strabane Anglers is an organisation that was formed 110 or so years ago.
That's a long time, hey. That's a long established club. That's 100 and many years. That's a long time.
The Strabane Anglers that are referred to, they were 1917 they were formed.
Boys, that's deadly, hey. That was First World War. Obviously, in that time, hey, and that's a century or more over.
They're all doctors and school teachers.
Aye, again, aye, absolutely, aye.
And they had prime fishing down at the town land of Mulvin.
Yeah, right, yes. That would have been downstream from here.
It would be a mile and a quarter.
Mile and a quarter down. So obviously then that would have been above the town of Strabane and up through, but that would have been through and Sion Mills, aye. So then you come up again to Mulvin, and that's the townland of Mulvin.
Townland of Mulvin.
About Victoria Bridge. That was effectively Strabane anglers.
Aye, and one side and Lord Brookborough owned the opposite of mine.
Brookborough.
Aye.
So there was Abercorn Estates and then
Abercorn Estate.
What was the difference? Do you mean me asking about Brookborough? Do you mean historically, and then Abercorn, was it two different dukes, or was it?
Oh no, Brookborough was Prime Minister for Northern Ireland.
And how? So there was a private fishing that he had then.
Private fishing. Aye.
So you come back to this change of the levels of it, of how you're seen, and merit.
Merit, aye.
Aye. So then Brookborough, Lord Brookborough had been in a certain side of the river. So
he owned the left-hand bank about a mile.
Above Mulvin.
Over, aye. And that was the side of Mulvin, down to near Victoria Bridge on the left-hand bank. On this system here, the great Mourne system.
Aye. As they call it, the mighty Mourne mine.
On the Mourne system, you have 5 or 6 great tributaries. You have here on the right, you have the Derg. You go on up straight. That's the Strood starts with the Derg and the Strood confluence is just up there. You go on up then to Newton Stewart, the Strood. You go on up about short distance out to Newton Stewart. You have the Glen Alley of the Own Killew, 2 good rivers that formed. I think the locals call it the Own Killew, even where it comes under Glennock. But I think it might be another name, might be the Glen Alley. But however, anyway,
that's true. Yes,
that was 2 good spawning rivers. You then went on up. And you had the ferry water. Well, that was mainly, of course, fisheries. We never looked upon contribution as far as salmon was concerned. You went on up onto Omo itself, where you had the Mourne and the Rumra meeting to form the Strill.
That was below Uma.
That was just in the centre.
Oh, yes, that's right. The meetings.
The meetings.
So that became the Strill. So obviously,
That was the start of the Strill.
then the Glenelly and the Owen Clew interlocked and flew into the Strill.
They met there down at Moyle or Knock Chapel.
You now over maybe 4 or 5 tributaries all joining. So them salmon.
One of the most productive salmon rivers in the world, according to Edson and Toomey. They were brought over to Canadian experts. They were brought over at the request of the anglers.
So then you would have fished in for a particular part of the Mourne that you had said it was your favourite. Is that particular? Was that been the lower the Mourne here, or would you like?
Depending on the time of the season, part of the season in June, you would have good fishing around Strabane, upstream of Strabane.
Early?
And around Sion, eh?
The girls would have come in then first in Lefford. So you'd have seen men be above.
9th and 10th of June on. The sea trout come in the 9th and 10th of June onward for about a fortnight, and then the last week in June, the grills had then for the next 3 weeks or so, and every grills, 9 out of 10 grills would have been 6.5 pound weight.
Oh goodness me, good steady grills there. Good steady grills, So then you're involved then, Frank, from fishing locally, so you just came here. Well, how did you see angling? That's important, this river, where the runs were and the size of fish were. I mean, I'm talking to a man, David Campbell.
David Campbell.
Davy.
Aye.
And obviously, by the time he had a shop mine in Newton Stewart.
That's right.
And you remember this, the size that he was talking about, quite large salmon this river had. Fish £20.
No.
Not as many as that.
There would have been.
Not as big as that, would you? 15 pounders.
Oh, you've got 15 pounders.
Oh, yeah,
20 pounders now. It was
very scarce.
Headlines.
Headlines. As everybody knew, you have 20 pounders caught at one for here at the top of Gorton Mountain.
Although I weighed one nearly 35 pounds for a chap about 18 years ago out at Lefford Bridge, a chap called Patsy McHugh, the photograph and all.
I seen it. It was a massive salmon.
Fish for, and 2 days later, when it was sent to Dublin, it weighed 33 3/4 pounds, where he got the certificate of merit and badge and all.
I had to qualify for the size of it. Nicky here is starting his quest time and salmon fishing. He's been fishing the lochs, been fishing the trout, and Antrim for the Donegal out of Loch Ness. But he's decided now he wants to try his hand at salmon fishing. And I am saying to yourself, if you're Nicky starting out now as a salmon angler, how would you approach the sport now? Would it be generally the flies?
Well, first of all, I was starting out fishing, fly fishing. I would spend time out in the field.
Aye.
Spend time.
Well, hey, wait, you see this. Well, Frank.
And then, secondly, and most important of all, fish. Well, you know what is fish. If you get to a time in life, most people do. There's no point in scraping at a hole. There's no roughing.
Oh, that's absolutely true, hey. What about flies? Let's talk about salmon flies very quickly. Let's be honest about it.
It's very easy to talk about salmon flies. It's the most confusing thing ever. You listen to the anglers and they're all of these various patterns and one thing or another.
Right.
They'll have patterns in their hat. They'll have them in their jumper. They'll have them every place and they'll all be pontificating about what fly at what time of the year and all. So I'll tell you this story now. As regards flies, I remember being at a game fair. I think it was at Clandyboyne. And the great Scottish angler, Peter Anderson, who was a world caster, noted angler, and the big Scotchman, the kilt and all on it in excess of 6'2", looked the part and everything. And he was a great talker, gave a great demonstration in all aspects of spinning and everything. So at the end of his demonstration, there was a crowd around him. He was asking questions and he was answering them as soon as he got them. There was this fella. The fellow was by the name of Rosamond Pogue from Armagh. He was a bank official. My brother knew him. So he put up his hand, he says, Mr. Anderson, plain Peter, sonny, what is it? Peter, with limited success, I have been going down to the River Moy in County Mayo, and meeting with a bit of success with spinning, worms, and I think he said prawns. Now, I'm thinking of taking up fly fishing for salmon. And I find the number or the variety of salmon hooks that flies that's on the market very confusing. Could you short list half a dozen for me? Sonny, I wouldn't even confuse you with half a dozen. Stock 'em in road killer and a stoat's tail in various sizes, and you'll have more than enough.
Yeah, all he did it was a couple of patterns.
That's right.
Aye.
Dull house the present day.
A Tull's house, aye. Great, some of the greats. And now, listen, and saying that to you also for Nicky, then you see in a river like the Mourne, is it lines you need, or is it wading? Is it?
Well, in the lake of the Mourne,
Do you know-
use a 15-foot rod. There's a lot of ones now using smaller rods, sort of catapult rods, you know.
Aye, surely, yeah.
With these lines now, they can shoot them out.
Aye,
you know.
that's right,
Every
aye.
mother can nearly fit them across the far side of the
Aye,
river.
aye, surely.
Because now, some of these lines now, they've been very heavy heads and all of them, and the rod's very short. And
So that rod for you, considering the tank aerial,
aye,
that that would be a featherweight.
ready to these lines. And
No, that was
these
an old line.
lines
That,
now, it's this part, this 7 or 8 yards, 6 or 7 yards, a thick line, skagga, whatever you call it. It's that thick, you just keep it up with the top ring, and you can scoot it out to the far side. The Reverend Mother could scoot it out to the far side.
different. Different, but the seer men were using them.
Oh,
You take a.
you have to
you-
be
you
using
take-
that.
you take Nick-
In my opinion, I wouldn't use any more or less than a 14-foot rod.
Aye. That's a starting point.
That's a starting point. You see, you can get it across, but with a short rod, you can't control the speed of the fly. Whereas with a big rod, you can hold it up and control
So
it.
there you can let it linger.
Aye.
You can hold the line out.
Aye, you can control it.
So you found that was important to you?
Aye, I did.
Aye, surely, aye.
Aye.
Was the angle important to you? Or was it the time that the fish had in this river? Was it a straight shot? Was it a bended fly? Or just was it...
You
Did you- did you-
all time, a good lot of times you'd have got them just as you were about to pull out.
It's nearly below you? Were they following the fly or just where the lies were?
I sort of, you can
Aye,
see
yep,
the rod
aye.
following you.
Yep. And
So their rod's
that would have been a modern rod. That would have been a guideline. Now you remember these reels fondly. That was the Hardies, the Hardy Perfects.
Yes, yes.
And obviously that would have been a three...
Aye, that would have been
a three-
prize
Oh, God, aye,
There used
aye.
to be a nugget ring on them.
No, I get ring high. Well, obviously that one there, that one was a model. Doesn't know how to, but as you say, the line keeper,
Aye.
or the lip dives. I wouldn't exactly
Yes.
know that would have been a very pivotal point. Was it made of ivory, I believe, at the time?
I get.
I get. Now, Nicky never really had any casting lessons. He's struggling to learn how to cast. So does. Hope there's no alcohol in that now. Hey. I hope you need vodka not. Or any whiskey. Right, you.
Just a sweet point. Right, that's there would be the sweet point. And you just cut it like that.
Here. Look at that there.
It's just like education once you learn it.
Aye, it's all you need. You'll be able to see there.
That's 1, 2, and then hitter.
That's unreal. Right, so here we go again, sir.
Effortless.
I'll do a double. 1, 2, 3. Whoosh.
There's it, boys.
So-
Make it look easy. I'm splashing about.
That's nearly that whole line out. That's nearly that whole line out, hey. You know what I mean? Look at that.
The whole lane's out.
The whole line's it. That's a long line, I could tell you, 'cause I know that there, because it's a double taper.
That's far full, hey.
Look at that, hey.
How long did it take you to get to that level?
What
Years
is
and
it
years.
done? That man's fish is a
I think you.
So it's... Oh, that.
Effortless. Don't get that.
Look at that unreal, hey. Not beautiful. Whenever you make the cast, where did you prefer, Nick? You see, just how did you prefer, Nick? If he was to cast a line, how would you present to say to him? Would it be hand halfway up the handle, or where you feel comfortable?
There you go.
Thanks very much, Frankie. Yeah. So we get to the stage, hey, you're into the 90s now, and obviously
It's now another.
is that the age now?
Aye.
And how do you feel about going fishing still at that age? The same as you were whenever you were a young boy.
Aye, but it's walking you the balance.
It's getting harder, right?
Aye, balance. There's no way.
Aye.
There's no way to past it.
Aye, but hey, look, hey, God's grace, hey, you'll get many more times that there ever, hey. And you know, to sum everything up, hey, in a fine September autumn day along the River Mourne, what is fishing meant to you, salmon fishing and trout?
It would give me a great relaxation. It was when I would have left the bakery in the evenings, maybe 7 or 8 o'clock at night, I'd have been the one who was doing the mixing, and there was a big machine that was like a vacuum, and it went off every 4 or 5 minutes, and there was like a big siren, and you would have been in listening to that all day in the machine. And then you come to the river, it was like a symphony orchestra, running water. Great.
Aye, it's a place of peace. Because obviously you've lived by the river. It's very important, this bit. This is something that's unique. We had changed the generations of salmon angling. We've seen changes of runs of salmon and trout, sea trout included. Where do you see angling on this island going forward to preserve the runs and enhance the runs? How do you feel that we could move the sport? Because all I want to do is let people see it's a great life by the river.
The only thing is now pollution's a big threat. I can remember in the late 60s, we had an Institute of Fishery Management meeting, and there was a good lot of papers being read, and one of them I can't remember the gentleman who was given the paper, but it was down at the University in Coleraine. But I can see he had, it was a big map projected onto a big screen, and he was standing, and he pointed the map of Northern Ireland, and I pointed to the middle of it. Loch Ness, that's it there. It touched 5 of the 6 counties of Northern Ireland. The only one it didn't touch was Fermanagh. Had plenty of water in with Fermanagh.
Iron.
And they referred to it. The sump of Ulster. The sump of Ulster. All them 5 counties were all drained.
Aye, absolutely. Well, hey, listen,
Right,
as always, every year, hey,
right.
as time passes by, I must get food.
And you've a great memory.
Look, you look after yourself now. And keep moving, don't you throw the towel on. Take care, Frank.
Well, sadly, it was time to say goodbye to Frank, and it was wonderful, that story of the life of the River Mourne and the River Fan. There are not too many who could tell that story. A day to remember. Frank Elliot, legend of the River Mourne Fan. The thing we do is keep leaving the take. Is that line of tight? All the best. River Mourne. Head on. I'll head up the road here and see if we can get a take something. Let's see if we can get something.